A very good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to you all on behalf of ICMI Social Auditors organization with our faculty guest, Mr. Sundar Kumar, sir. He's an NGO consultant and a managing partner of Tex LS LLP. Warm welcome to sir and very good afternoon. Sir, actually, your mic is off.
Sorry. Hope I am audible now.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
So, good afternoon, everyone. So, for the next 1 hour, we are going to have an interactive session on how we are how we are going to have controls in an NGO. So now the NGO audits have crossed various barriers. First, we used to only have tax audit. We used to only have statutory audit. Now the expectation of donors for the last few years have changed a lot actually. So they want whether the NGO that they are funding are having governance properly. Okay, so we are going to see how a NGO can have proper governance, financial governance properly, so that the donors and the investors and the stakeholders in NGO are taken care of properly. So this session is going to be a live, interactive and case study based session where I request everyone to participate and give their views. It is not only I am only not going to speak for the whole session. I request everyone to actively participate and contribute to the session so that it is going very good. Okay. So is everyone able to see my presentation? So is my presentation visible to everyone? Can someone respond? Yeah.
It's visible, but you have to take in a presentation mode.
Yeah, I've taken it in presentation mode. Now is it visible?
Perfect.
Yeah. So this is the case study we are going to review for the next 1 hour. So the case is there is a Norwegian donor. There is a Norway donor who is funding South Indian NGOs, to faith-based South Indian NGOs, and they have asked us to audit. Okay, so they wanted to know if the governance aspects, especially the meeting governance and financial governance aspects in the NGO is running properly. So what we have found out is there was only board meetings in paper. Okay, fund reports were available, but it was made after the funds have been released. So once they used to get 50 lakhs, they used to spend it and then make it post facto fund reports. Okay, and there was no, they were not able to check whether the money received is has gone to the beneficiary, and beneficiary were inflated. So how many of us have seen these type of NGOs in our practice? So can anyone tell whether anyone has seen NGOs like this? Can anyone tell about their experience? Is it common everywhere, or it is an isolated case? What do you people think? I request everyone to be participative so that we can share our knowledge. This is more of knowledge sharing rather than teaching actually. So okay, let me proceed. Okay, so the real problem with NGOs, what we see is the intention of NGOs is real work and good people, but there is no proper control or proper systems that the NGOs have. They want to do good to the society. Even the donors want to do good to the society, and the beneficiary are real. But the controls and the systems are not in place. So not in place to support to them. So what is happening generally is in NGO people are good. The accountant is an honorary accountant. The person who is working as an admin is an ordinary admin. So the problem where it starts is the NGO systems create an inducement to do wrong things. Even though the intention is good, the system is such a way that there is an inducement to do bad. Okay, I think everyone is. I think everyone will agree on this part, because the people who are the governors in NGOs are generally honorary, and there is an inducement in the system to do bad things, even though their intention behind this is good. Okay, so that is why there is an increased need of controls in NGOs. Okay, so let us see what is the first control which all NGOs should have. Okay, so the first problem what we found out is, I'll just read it out. There is only one person who is raising, approving and processing the transactions. So as an auditor, the basic control what we do is vouching. So once we do the vouching, we understand that there is a single person, single accountant. The accountant will only act as cashier. The cashier will act as accountant. So that is the case in every NGO, correct? So what is the basic control what we should implement is maker and checker authorization. You may ask me, what is the why maker and checker is very important? Can anyone throw a light on that? Let us please keep this interactive so that everyone is participative, and it is not like I'm just shouting at the camera. I request everyone to be participative, please. So as CMA, I think the mixed crowd, no, we are all CMA, CA, CS here. So the basic audit what we study is maker checker. So why maker checker do you think is the important, is the basic control? Can anyone tell?
To have better internal control over the transaction.
Yeah, better internal control, and then so my basic understanding of maker checker is, if you feel someone is going to check what you are doing, automatically you do only the good thing. If someone keeps watching us, you don't try to do a bad thing. You try to be good, and you try to do the correct thing. So maker checker is the most basic concept in the audit, and this has to be there in every NGO. Okay, so what we have found, we'll see. So the problem what we have found is, in the NGO, there was a single person who was raising, approving, and processing all the payments, and there was not even second signatory. Okay, so the next concept is, you should always have a two signatory to every payment. So in most of the NGOs, you still have paper pen method. You still don't have net banking. You still don't have online banking or GPay or UPay. They still use either cash or checks for payment. So what we saw was, even if the amount is more than 50,000 or 60,000, there was only one signatory. So as I already premised, when you have two people to check your day-to-day work, there is always a reduction at least by 25 to 30% that when I am doing the work, he is going to check. So I should do everything properly. Okay, so this is what we found. So one person was raising and doing all the transaction by himself, and there was no second signatory for any payment. So because of this, what has happened is, there is always a disbursement risk. So when we talk about audit risk, there are three type of audit risk, right? So can anyone tell? What is audit risk? Type of audit risk is inherent risk, control risk, and detection risk, right? So inherent risk we cannot prevent it, and this is all control risk. When you have a internal control system in place, these types of problems can be reduced. So what was the impact? What we found was donor funds, the hard-earned money of the donors have been spent by the NGO without any oversight. So if someone asks the amount, they will pay without even checking what was the bill. Okay, so this was the control risk what we found in the NGO, and because of this, there was a fraud risk. So we don't know whether, even though the payments are genuine, if there is only one person who is doing all the transaction, there is always a risk of being the transaction being marked as fraudulent. And now the concept, and now the audit trail. So in every NGO, we recommend that the system which we are implementing, let it be either ERP or Tally or basic software, should have the audit trail implementation. So what is the requirement for audit trail? So can someone throw a light on why we need audit trail? Please be interactive, no, so that it is, we are all learning together. Even I can learn from your insights. So audit trail in a accounting software, it helps us track down who has made the entry, who has passed the entry, and who has authorized the entry. So the audit trail mechanism in a accounting software. This audit trail is mainly for accounting softwares. So once you have the audit trail, you will know who has made the transaction, who has approved it, and who has made the disbursement. So the result, so the solution what we did was three-tier authorization matrix. So let me tell you what is three-tier authorization. So one person does the voucher checking. So if a vendor gives a bill, he passes the bill. He checks whether the vendor has completed as per the terms of agreement, whether the TDS has been deducted, whether the date, time, and everything is properly mentioned in the bill. So one person checks the bill, one person enters the bill in the system, and the third person authorizes the payment. So when you have three people in the system, the amount of risk what is there in one transaction reduces by almost 50 to 75%. Okay, so this is what we have implemented. So three-tier authorization matrix: one person to check the invoice, one person to make the payment, and one person to account it. So when you have these type of control, the result what you will have is zero single person transaction. No one person can do all the transaction alone. It has to go through one or two people. Then only you can authorize one single transaction. I cannot authorize my own payment, and it has to be approved by a higher official, so that there is no fraud risk. Okay, and what we have made is dual signatory. When one bill has to be passed, it has to be either signed by the accountant and treasurer, or treasurer and secretary. Okay, and when you have the voucher to be made, so in every NGO we have the vouchers, which is physical cash vouchers. So in that, everyone has to sign it before the payment is being made. Okay, so when you have the paper trail, this acts as the audit trail for future audits, and you will know where the payment has gone, who has authorized it, and whether it has gone to the correct party. Okay, so the blueprint. So I have made a blueprint for this. So first, in an NGO, what we have to understand is what is the authorization matrix, who has to approve the transaction, and create a voucher format matching the authorization matrix. For example, in one NGO, you will have an accountant, treasurer, president, secretary. So the treasurer, president, secretary may not be available every time. So you can have one accountant plus treasurer, or accountant plus secretary to make the transactions. Okay, and then you create a voucher format to match with your authorization matrix. So the voucher should have the signature of at least 2 people to make the transaction. So this has to be trained to the staff. The staff has to understand this is the procedure which we are going to implement, so that there is no ambiguity among the employees of the trust. Okay, so there is, if you see, there is no cost also involved in the existing voucher itself. You can make a stamp on treasurer, secretary and accountant, and this also promotes accountability. When the accountant or the treasurer is signing, when you ask them, if you when you ask someone to sign something, you they will always have one thing, whether am I signing it correctly, whether will it become any problem for me before. So they will think 2 to 3 times before making the transaction. So you are building a culture of accountability also in this. Okay, so this is the very basic structure which all the NGOs should have. Okay, so I think any doubts in this? Any doubts? So as Rohit Ratna has said, work done by one person has to be checked by other. So in this, financially, before a transaction is completed, one person will check the full bills, authorization matrix before making the payment. Okay. So any doubts in this? Can we move on?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I am Chaitanya Kumar Rai from Bhubaneswar. Regarding, I have to say that
Yeah.
as per their member articles and there is their deed, the finance authority who is it, they should sign.
Yeah.
Any 2%, I think that any managing committee, 2% executive body, 2%, I think that it will be, may not be applicable. So authorization as per their articles.
Yeah.
There,
But as per articles, or in case there is no, like, you can have one, sir, my suggestion would be one accountant plus one managing committee member also should be fine.
suppose next time, suppose the authorized person, he said that who is responsible to be expended, then they can manager ask you why you are passing this internal control system is not is not adhered. So how do we pass this bill and the payment this bill? And are the auditor is to also question on this?
Sir, so that is why we have to make an SOP first, sir. We will be discussing it in the coming slides. So based on the bylaws, we have to make an SOP for the trust. So who is going to be authorization for payments more than 5,000 or 50,000?
Yes, yes.
Everything has to be documented first. So there should be we will be talking about SOPs in the coming slide. So we will have to first create documents. So who is responsible for what? So an organization structure, everything has to be redefined actually. So
Yes.
we are talking about trusts which are like 40, 50 years old. They will not even have proper bylaws actually. So we will have to create everything. First, the documentation will be the first step actually. That is a very good question, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other question actually? Any other question? To answer sir's question, so we'll be seeing more of the SOPs and what how the controls can be done actually. This maker checker concept is the basic internal control structure in all the organization, let it be NGO or let it be a private limited or public limited or listed companies. Beyond maker checker concept is the very basic control. So now there are few mechanisms which is beyond basic maker checker and new, like what you call it, this is Gen Z internal controls actually. So that we'll discuss. So first is time based payments actually. So sorry. So in time based payments, you make payment only on specific days. Okay. Either, like for example, I have given Monday and Thursday, and there is no ad hoc disbursement on any other day. Okay. So what do you think will happen if you are doing time based payments? throw a light on that? So can anyone think of it? So time-based payments are required because every vendor will know on beforehand that he will receive payment only on Monday or only on Thursday. This helps in one, cash flow management. In donation based NGOs, cash flow management is very, very important. So once you have this on hand, you will always know when the payments are due so that you can plan your cash flows accordingly. And on internal control perspective, can anyone throw a light why time based payments are important? Can anyone think of it? Can please everyone, I request everyone to participate so that it is going well. So time-based payments as an internal control measure, why we say it? Because uh, especially in NGO type of organizations, the almost all of the managing committee members are honorary positions, correct? So when you fix a day, you will know that the payments on Thursday are authorized by me. Okay. So when it comes to audit also, you can filter if there was any payment made on any other day, and you can see the approval matrix for that. Okay. So this is a new type of control which everyone now has started to use it. Okay. So any doubt on this? Any doubt or any thoughts on this? Okay, next, moving on. Next is field visits. Okay, when it comes to field visits, you will always have an annual report. You have done 500 sewing missions, 1,000 sewing missions. You have 1,000 school students and all. So how to verify it? Okay, so when you go to the actual NGO centers where this happening, and you can see through GPS timestamp whether the project has happened at this place at that time. Okay, so when they are saying we are doing 500 tailoring, we are teaching for 500 tailoring. Sorry, if an NGO is saying I have taught 50 women tailoring today, then if you can see in the GPS, you will have with the latitude, longitude, location, and timing. Okay, with this you can see whether you can see the genuinity of the beneficiaries and genuinity of the claims that has been made by the NGOs. Okay, any doubts or any thoughts on this? Can anyone like have are we implementing this in our client's place? So any thoughts, you can just interrupt me and we can talk actually. Okay. So next is exception reporting. Okay. So this can be exception reporting can be made through ERP systems like Tally and Zoho and all. If you are making payment entry for more than 5,000, see for example, in SOP you are saying more than 5,000, it has to be approved by managing committee members and accountant. Okay, if you are saying like this, you can put that control in the ERP system. Okay, saying that more than 5,000 has to be done by both managing committee members and accountant. So when a payment entry is made like that, automatically email will go to the managing committee member saying that more than 5,000 rupees entry has been made. Have you approved or not? Even if they have not approved, they will get a mail and they can cross verify that whether they have verified it or not. Okay, understood? So someone has asked a question. How do you use Google Form for geotagging? Okay, so actually in sorry, you can use the in Google Forms. What we do is we have the beneficiary data. That is what work they're doing, and from your Android and iPhone camera itself, you have the lat long features now. So we upload that in Google Form and check it actually. So in every project, we have it as a Google form, and whenever there is a project that is happening, we upload the Google image, we upload the lat long images in the Google Forms actually. So any other doubt on this? And then next is beneficiary OTP verification. Now OTP verification are happening everywhere. Even if you want to download your hall ticket or Aadhaar card, everywhere you have the OTP verification. You can implement this for your beneficiaries also. For example, you are giving medical aid or medical amounts. Some NGOs give them money every month for medical aid. So this can be verified using SMS. So there are services like Way91 and Google SMS, Zoho SMS and all. So if you add the beneficiary name, mobile number and email ID, it automatically verifies the phone number and says whether it is going to the beneficiary account. Okay, so there are also penny drop services. If they give the bank account, you can check and see whether the bank account is valid, whether it is in the beneficiary name, and whether it is used by the beneficiary, so that the bogus beneficiary can be bogus beneficiaries can be excluded in this. So even in Tally, you can have, even in Tally now you have this option to check whether the bank account validation, okay, whether the bank account name as per the bank name and the as per the passbook and the Aadhaar, whether it is matching, you can check that. Okay, so this can be implemented. Beneficiary OTP now it is being it has been started to use by many NGOs now. Okay, and next is vendor cooling period. So when you audit an NGO or when you get NGO as an auditor or as an audit client, what first you have to make them understand is they should have a vendor master data. Okay, so when you have a vendor master data, there should not be any changes from the one vendor to other vendor very frequently. So once you have a vendor, for example stationery, you cannot have any other vendor within 30 days or 45 days or 60 days. Some NGOs will have same vendor for their lifetime actually. So now what happens is, due to the bogus, this risk comes when you have bogus vendors. So to avoid this, what we suggest is, when you should have a vendor master data, and if you are adding a new vendor, you cannot add in the same sector another vendor for next 30 days. For example, today I have onboarded one stationery vendor. I cannot add one more stationery vendor within 30 days. This reduces the bogus risk, vendor bogus risk actually. So this can be added, this can be authorized in Zoho or Tally. So in Zoho, what can be done is, when you are adding a vendor master data, it goes to, you can configure in such a way that it asks for OTP authorization from the managing committee or the finance accountant. So once they approve only, you can add one vendor. Okay. So any doubts or any questions in this? Okay. Next is, this is also now, I think many of us will be following this. So the moment you go for cash counting. Okay. You don't wait for suspense to be cleared, or you don't wait for the day to close. You just go The moment you go, you ask them the cash and you check whether cash is correct. As an auditor, you have to go any month, any day, the moment you go, the cash should be ready. Okay, so this also can be done by the managing committee themselves. They can choose a day, they can go surprise on a day starting or day ending and see whether the cash as per books and cash as per tally, cash as per hand is tallying. Okay, so this can help us in reducing the cash risk. Okay, any doubts in this slide or any thoughts? You have any thoughts on this? Any other control which you are using? I request everyone to participate. I don't want to just shout at the camera. I just want everyone to participate so that I can also learn from you guys. Okay, let us move on to the next one. Okay. So next is my favorite thing actually is financial visibility and management systems, management information system, which is the MIS. Okay, all donor funds is in one bank account. Okay, this is the problem statement. I'm just reading out the problem statement. All the donor funds are in one bank account. There is no project wise tracking. So in many NGOs, you have multiple projects which are happening simultaneously. For example, they will have one skill development course, for example, something like a tailoring course and something like a vocational education, something like a plumbing course or electrician course, and they may also have medical aids. Okay, so a donor is coming and asking you, I have given you 10,000 rupees for tailoring project. Okay, how much have you spent out of it? So can someone answer how we can answer the donor? Can someone throw a light? Okay, Lalita Vijay Kumar, she has said cost center. So that is a very good option actually. Then any other thoughts? Any other thoughts? So due to this, the impact what you have found is when especially these foreign donors, they want reports. The moment they ask it, they will require your reports. They will send an email saying that send me a report of your tailoring workshop. Okay, they will expect the email within 10 minutes. But our Indian accountants, we know how we are. So we always work through the deadline and we keep postponing it. And due to this, what will happen is the donor trust will be completely lost. Okay, and the next time they will think twice to fund us. Okay, they will think, why should I fund him? They are not even responding to me properly. So these are the risks which we are having. Okay, sorry. These are the risks which we are having. So how to manage this risk? So if you are using Zoho books, there is a concept in Zoho called projects. So you can implement project wise, which is nothing but cost center. Okay, or you can have donor as your cost center. For example, donor from USA can be one cost center. You can see how much he has given and how much out of his funds you have transferred or you have spent to the beneficiaries. So these are the two types where you can implement this. Either have a project-wise cost center or donor-wise cost center. Okay, and then you can have budget versus actuals. So when you are having an ERP system, you can track this in a second's time. If you keep the if you have the ERP system, you can see what is happening in a millisecond. So if you open the cost center wise report, you can see this at the very easily. And next is one page MIS. So in one page MIS, what you can have is, as a CMAs, I think everyone will be very good in MIS tracking. So what I would suggest is a single page MIS where you can see how much is the donor received amount and where you have spent. So amount received, amount spent in a single page so that it is understood by even a non-accounting or non-finance person. Okay. Quarterly then create a format for quarterly donor report. So even if you don't have this monthly, you can have it quarterly. So quarterly, I have received 10,000 from the donors, and in this quarter I have spent 30,000 or 40,000. You can give as a result to the donor. Okay, so due to this financial visibility, see, donor was able to see it in real time. Okay, so they were able to see cost center wise data for the donor. Also, they were able to see project wise also. So because of this, the donor received donor rebuilt the trust with the NGO. Okay, so they were able to receive all the backlogged funds within the next 3 months, and the donor continued to fund the NGO. Okay, I think I have few questions here. Is Zoho dashboard works well? The features which you have mentioned, are these available in Zoho? Okay. So Zoho is an ERP. Okay. So in Zoho books, you have all the options what I was talking about. Even in Tally, you can do all this. Cost center, project wise, everything can be done in Tally also. Zoho is a separate accounting software, but you cannot link Tally and Zoho. Zoho is a separate software and Tally is a separate software. You cannot link it both, but in both you can do all these things: cost center, project wise, maintenance, everything can be done in both these softwares actually. So as a blueprint, as a cheat sheet, I have given everything how we have implemented. So even if you are using Tally or Zoho, you can open cost center. You can create either donor based cost center or project based cost center. You can map all the expense to each and every project. Okay. So you should have a question now how to map the admin expenses. So can anyone say how can we map the admin expenses to cost centers? So any percentage of allocation, standard basis. Okay, what we follow is the project which has more value, we allocate that on percentage basis. Okay, so for example, tailoring maybe will have high cost. Medical aid will have low cost. So we do based on the cost involved for each product. Okay, so you can map that based on the percentage basis. That also can be automated both in Tally and Zoho. Okay, so if you are actually Zoho is an Indian based software, so you have the free tier. Zoho offers free for up to 25 to 30, up to 25 lakhs of donations. You can have it for free for NGOs. So when you do this for NGO, almost all the features you can use it without paying any cost actually. So the cheat sheet for this is whatever software you are using, have open cost center either based on project or either based on donors, map all the expenses to the project, build one page MIS. We can have any template, either donation received and expenses, or expenses and donation received. It is our imagination. So as CMAs, I think we are very good in preparing MAS reports. Okay, and then we can share to the donor. Okay, within 1 month we can have this financial visibility and MIS both to the donor. This is helping both of us. It is helping donor also, it is helping NGOs also. So donor will have visibility and NGO will know where we are doing and where is our social impact which is happening. Any doubts or any thoughts on this? Okay. So let us talk about SOPs. Okay, SOP is standard operating procedures, correct? So our Mr. Reza was telling about the bylaws and all. In bylaws, they would have defined who should sign and all. So let us see whether in an NGO having, let us assume NGO does not have any physical documents, how to create SOP for them? Can anyone throw a light? I am running an NGO, but I don't have any clue what is happening, or I don't have anything in the NGO. I don't have any bylaw, any paper. I don't have anything in the NGO. So how to do it? So can anyone throw a light on this? Please let us be participative, no, so that I am not getting.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So first we'll have to study the NGO,
Yeah.
study that what are their existing practices.
Okay.
And some standard operating procedure is to be developed. Then that their existing systems will have to be aligned with the standards. It
Yeah.
has to be done at some point of time for
Yeah.
the initial stage.
Okay. Okay. So how I used to do, I will tell you. So first we'll have to write what is happening in the NGO. What I used to do is whenever I go to an NGO and start talking with the managing committee or accounting people, I used to write what is happening in the NGO. Okay. So we should go step by step. So first meet the managing committee, ask them what are all the projects they are doing, what is their intention behind running the NGO, and then go to the accounting team, ask them how they are accounting, and write everything. You should not even try to judge, just listen and write what is happening. Okay, once you listen and write what is happening, you will know where you have the gaps. Okay, so for example, the a managing committee will say I have 10 gardeners, but I pay them only by cash. Whether this is correct or not? Can someone prove this? I have 10 gardeners. I am paying them by cash. Can someone?
We,
Yeah. Yeah.
we don't make any cash payments. We do all by check or direct to the bank.
Okay. 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 So how to implement process for that?
We've opened bank accounts for all of them.
Okay.
So then the amounts are transferred into their accounts when it comes to salaries or whatever.
Okay. 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 Very good. So now every bank, they have this basic accounts actually. So they call it BSD or something like that, basic savings account scheme. Okay, that is mandatory in every bank to have, and you can tie up with the NGOs bank itself to start implementing to all the workers or all the beneficiaries in the system. Okay, so that can be, so cash should be eliminated as much as possible in NGOs, because that gives an inducement actually. Even though the intention behind is very good, if you have cash in hand, the inducement to do fraud, I will not call it fraud also, the inducement to do anything bad is always there. So it is, so we should try to avoid cash as much as possible. So let us see how to implement an SOP. Okay, so before trying to implement an SOP for a whole organization, we should pick one process. Okay, so first thing is we should document everything. So who is managing, what is the beneficiary identification process, what is the beneficiary disbursement process, and all. So this should be first documented by us. Okay, so what is the NGO's intention, that has to be documented. So once you document it, you have to make it into various processes. For example, fund disbursement. Let us take the example of fund disbursement, disbursement to a medical aid patient. Okay, so we will have to write. This is it. This slide is very important. This is like a cheat sheet to you actually. You can directly go and implement tomorrow in one NGO. Okay, so we are taking example of fund disbursement, and next step is to write these 5 questions actually. So what are the questions? Who is initiating? Who is approving? What is the document required? Who reconciles? And how often? These 5 questions are very, very important actually. So who initiate means what? Who initiates that this person needs medical aid? So there will be some person who may come and ask the NGO saying that I have this medical condition, please help me. So we have to document who has initiated this. So once he has come and approached the NGO, we have to see who has approved. This person is really wants that medical aid and we have to help him. Who has approved it? Okay. And we'll have to see what documents are required. So this goes hand in hand. The approval and document goes hand in hand. So the managing committee member or the person in charge of that program will have several documents. For example, if A is cancer patient and he needs money for treatment, he will have to go through all the medical report, and sometimes the NGO will have their own doctors to certify whether this person is really in the poor background and whether he needs what is the amount he needs, and whether what is the amount that is required and what is the treatment that is required. So this goes hand in hand. And who reconcile? What is meant by who reconciles? So whether the initiation, approval, document and the amount, which is all the 4, has to be accounted and it has to be gone through the correct beneficiary. So if A comes, the money should not go to B. So this has to be checked by the reconciler. So this is generally the accounts person. Okay. Then how often? So you are giving, whether you are giving one-time donation or whether the amount which you are going to give is very monthly or bi-monthly or quarterly. So this has to be documented in the SOP. Okay. Then this should not cross more than one A4 sheet. Say A4 sheet. Okay. So if it goes beyond one A4 sheet, then it cannot be followed. So if you are saying go to managing committee, go to accountant, go back to managing committee, and you keep writing this, and if it fills more than one A4 sheet, then it means that the process can still be improved and you have to reduce the number of process in the item. Okay, so this is my cheat sheet actually. So if it goes beyond one page, then it cannot be followed. Everyone will have the lethargy to follow. This has many process, I will not follow it. No one will follow it. Then there will not be any inducement to even follow this. Okay, so we should keep it very, very simple. Okay, next is very, very important, the joiner test. So you give to a new intern who has joined and see whether the person is able to follow it without asking you any question. Okay, they should not come back and ask you, sir, I have doubt on this line. If they are able to do it, then it is a very good process. Okay, and repeat it. So this 4 has to be repeated for everything else. Okay, so for all the process, for fund receipt, disbursement, field receipt, if you have all this, then all the SOPs in your organization are valid. Any question or any thoughts? Any questions or any your views on this? Okay. So this is the full so for the Norwegian donor, this is what we have delivered to them actually. So what we have already discussed for so long, around 55 minutes we have discussed. So this is what we have delivered to them. One authorization matrix. So for every NGO, now you have an authorization matrix. MC, managing committee, or accountant, or MC plus accountant. So that we have formalized. No, one person cannot authorize any transaction. Next is SOPs. So we have written more than 12 to 13 SOPs. So everything is a single page, easily understandable, easily delivered. Okay. And then beneficiary documents. So documentation for a beneficiary is very mandatory. So every field where it is geotagged, it is uploaded in Google form. All the beneficiary are genuine. We know it by OTPs in their mobile, and everything is measured. Okay, and then we have implemented Zoho books. Okay, in Zoho books you have project. Every project will have a separate dashboard, and every donor will have a cost center. So both you can see at any time actually. So project also can be tracked tracked real time, and donors also can be tracked real time. Okay, and for board of directors, what we have given is annual calendar. Every month you will have to meet, what you have to do, and everything, policy, agenda, and resolution register. Everything we have given to the board of directors. So board, they will not have paper meeting, they will have proper structured meeting for everything actually, and reporting. So we have implemented the MAS report, quarterly donor report, annual impact report for all the NGOs. Okay, so any doubt in this, any doubt or any thoughts or anything which you can recommend me to improve, or which you are practicing, which can be improved, which can be a value addition? So anyone, any thoughts on this? Okay, so so as a social auditor, you are going for an audit. Okay, so you ask these documents on day one. The moment you go to an audit and ask it, and they are not able to give within, I have given 48 hours, but I expect it in first day itself. So if you are not giving it, so then you have a problem in NGO. First is last 3 years board meetings, registers, they will not, you have to ask it. Authorization matrix or payment approval policy, if you should ask whether they have it. Bank statement with reconciliation, BRS, project wise utilization and budget, beneficiary register. If you ask it and they cannot give it to you, then there is a problem in the NGO and your intervention is very much required. And there are also red flags, which we have already discussed this, but I'll again summarize this. And when a single person is doing receipts and payments, both receipt also is accounted by same person, payment is also done by same person without maker checker. And round figures for every payment, you will have round figures, and resolution missing for key items. So these are all the red flags, and these things you should ask on day one. And if you are not getting, then there is the social auditors intervention is required in the NGO. Okay, so I am just concluding the class now. We can have Q&A session. So my quote for today is: controls do not restrict NGOs; they protect them actually. So some NGOs may feel like, what is this? This auditor has come and they has implemented so many things we are not able to follow. But this is for their own good actually. So this is not to restrict the NGOs; it is to protect them from scrutiny from donors, scrutiny from government. So the NGOs that build control will have donor trust tomorrow. Okay. So as a social auditor, we should understand what controls are required, how we can implement this, so that we can have a meaningful social audit for our clients. So any questions, anything you want to ask, we can have Q&A. Any value addition you want to do? Who can be a social auditor? I think from ICMA they can answer this question.
So, I would like to put some points here.
Yeah.
So, whatever has been discussed is purely an auditor's job, and there is no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But most of the things will be done by the financial auditor, or if there is an internal auditor, then they can.
Yeah.
As a social impact assessor,
Hmm.
so do we need to go beyond this? I have taken the social impact assessor's certificate recently. I have not done any
Okay.
assignment. But I believe that means our role should be much beyond these things also. No? So towards the beneficiaries verification and all those things.
Yeah. Sir, as when you are able to give a value addition to the client, so you will always have a better relationship with the NGOs than the internal auditor or statutory auditor, sir. If you just focus on the impact, these affect impacts actually. So when you don't have any beneficiary data, or if you don't have any proper financial records, it obviously affects your impact also actually. So as a impact assessor, if you check financial aspects also, it is a value addition which you are going to do to an NGO actually. I don't.
As per social
so I
auditing
fully
guidelines.
agree with you, sir. Without this, we cannot do
Yeah.
that work also. So there is no any doubt about that.
Yeah,
So I just wanted to know what are the other things which as a social impact assessor means something additional things will have to be done. These things have to be done. I have no doubt about it.
Yeah. So as a impact assessor, mainly the beneficiary data, no, there you will always have issues actually, whether what is claimed by the NGO and what is really there. So for that, the geo tagging and OTP verification are very those can be implemented actually. You can recommend them to implement that, so that the real beneficiary impact you can verify actually.
Yeah, actually, the guidelines for social auditing guidelines, impact assessor, that way you cannot enter the financial transactions.
Yeah.
Because it is a value addition maybe.
Yeah.
But our work only social impact point of view, whether it is socially impacted on this project or not, how much expenditure is made. If any special cases for verification and for authenticate, this expenditure are incurred for this project and as a viability. We can only see on this point of view. Beyond this, our scope, we can go as per the guidelines of the social impact. I think that.
Yeah, that is true, sir. That is true. But I have focused on what the controls. So only the topic is also controls which can be tested actually.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions or any other thoughts? I think some chat questions have come. I'll just go through it. To whom the audit report be submitted when the numbers of huge? See, actually, even when the numbers are huge, the SMS charges for even 1,000 or 1,500 people, it is coming around some only 15 to 20 rupees actually in Zoho SMS itself. So you can have the cost will be very, very low. Even for geo tagging, the apps and mobiles are free actually. So you will not have any additional cost for geo tagging. OTP will have cost, but even for 1,000 or 1,500 SMS, it is just 15 or 150 or 200 rupees only. So you will not have much financial impact. Volunteering engagement, parenting engagement number or yeah. So as I said, the cost will be very less actually. So to whom the audit report be submitted, I am not sure which audit you are talking about. When it comes to the control audit, it is to the management that you submit actually. So any other thoughts, any other doubts?
Is there any format for social audit report?
Yes, ma'am. There is a format for social audit report which is there. Actually, maybe from the that is there in the guidelines itself, ma'am. Maybe I'll ask someone to share it with you.
Yeah, if it is shared, then because we give the financial report and impact report. I mean, what does the social audit report content have? We would like to know.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that is there in the framework itself. I will try to share share it with you.
Thank you.
So anything else? Anything else you want to know? Any feedback or any thoughts? Hope I've tried to cover what it is more like my learnings from the social audit or the control implementation, what we have done to NGOs. So I'll share my so this is my mobile number, email ID, and website. So anyone is interested to keep in touch, I am always available actually. Okay. Thank you all for participating in today's session. I thank the ICMI Social Auditors Organization for arranging this class, and I thank the participants attending this class for 1 hour. Thank you very much. Thank you all. I have shared my mobile number in the chat. If anyone wants to keep in touch, we can keep in touch. Thank you.